So we should be broadcasting. As I was explaining to Jeff during the testing time, there is a little bit of a lag here. So this is officially what's up and on here. Oh, there's Chinma. I don't know why she's not in the Hangout with us, but there's a little bit of a lag there. So our members will be in the chat here. You guys just give us a heads up when you start to hear me talking. Let me know you're out there. So there'll be a little bit of a lag there. But once I get there, okay. Awesome. Thank you, Chris, for confirming. Welcome, everyone, to our CTCSTA meeting for December 12th. We are doing a completely virtual meeting tonight, and we have two wonderful presenters for those who are here. If you have not used YouTube Live before, to our members, you can use the chat box to kind of check in and send questions as our presenters are talking. There is an agenda linked in the description. So hopefully most of you have found that. Chinma, I was hoping you were going to come into the actual Hangout. I did invite you. So if you get a chance and you want to join in and talk, come in and join us. Hopefully a few more people sign in before we get started. So I mean, I'm not off of my whoever's there because I'm figuring. So I'm not sure there who just joined.
This is Ido joining.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
We're just getting set up. We're boosting the podcast right now. So you're hearing a bit of an echo. Okay. Another echo. All right. So if you're not speaking, could you mute yourself, please? Again, I'm not switching off because I am sharing my screen right now. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're in the chat, I'm not seeing your messages. Chinma, again, I was hoping that you were going to join in to the presenters hangout. Text or call me if you need to. But I guess I'll keep the ball rolling. So this is Pauline, Secretary of CTCSTA. Last week, as many of you know, was CS Ed Week, and in Connecticut we had lots of great things happening. One of the biggest things was kicked off on Monday in Hartford. The State Commissioner of Education joined us, as well as the Acting Superintendent of Hartford Public Schools. So it was really great to see the support that we had and how far things have come. Chinma and CTCSTA members also led on Saturday the Women in STEM C and Minority Boys Code, which I heard went very well. I was not able to attend myself, but I did see some of the pictures on Twitter. We're working on, the editorial news committee is going to work on a press release along with the board to release some of the statements, a statement with some of the activities that happened last week around the state of Connecticut. If you did celebrate CS Ed Week, whether it was the Hour of Code or some other activity, I am inviting you again to submit to the slideshow for the drawing that we're going to have. It would be great if you could submit a picture and a description by December 14th. All you have to do is request access to the slideshow with your Google account, and I will grant it for you. This will also help with making the full list of activities that happen throughout the state. We'll also include in there the White House fact sheet that was released last week, in which for Connecticut, Hartford Public Schools was listed as a supporting district. So lots of great things happened last week. I am also just recently aware that our member Jackie Coracelli has been awarded with a Teaching Award of Excellence in Computer Science from CSTA National and Infosys Foundation. So congratulations to Jackie on that. And one final thing from me that I wanted to put out there was many of us are aware that the movie Hidden Figures is going to be coming to theaters in January. So I would just like to throw the idea out there, and you can feel free to respond via the chat or email to see if our members are willing and would like to do a group movie where we sponsor some girls to go see the movie in January when the movie comes out. So just an idea. If you think it's a good idea and you're willing to support it, let us know. So on the agenda, we're supposed to get started around 7:15. I am going to just check the chat real quick because I don't know what's going on over here. Chinma, the calendar invite had the updated link. So I think that we should get started. I am going to switch off from sharing my screen now. And I'm going to invite our first presenter, Jeff Hogan from Edhesive, to share his screen with us. Thank you to Jeff for being here with us tonight.
All right. Hi, everyone. We tested this before, so let's see if this goes smoothly again. How's that? Can you see my screen all right, Pauline?
So it looks like it's switching over. I'm going to wait a second.
And hopefully it's occupying a large stake of the real estate on the screen too this time.
Yes, so I'm seeing it now on YouTube Live, so it should be good to go.
Great. All right. Very good. All right. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Hogan, and I work with Edhesive, not too far from most of you guys. We're based in Manhattan. And you know, I'm here to speak tonight a little bit about our program. I wanted to first thank Tim Barron from Farmington High School, who had initially suggested that I reach out to your organization about you know, doing something like this. And then I wanted to thank you know, Chinma and Pauline for organizing this and making this possible tonight. I was telling Pauline before when we were testing this that I usually do kind of one-on-one conversations with teachers or you know, school administrators, and it's usually more of an kind of a organic back and forth type of conversation. as opposed to me presenting like through a webinar type of scenario. So if anybody has questions, while I'm presenting, feel free to enter those into the chat window on the YouTube live, and then Pauline will try and get those over to me, and we'll also pause for some Q&A towards the end of the presentation as well. So, all right, so let's get started. And did the slide change properly this time, Pauline?
Sorry, I had myself muted while you were talking.
Okay.
On YouTube Live, it's still the title screen.
Okay. I wonder if I can.
It does look like it changed. There it goes.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, I guess it is about maybe a 10-second lag in between screens there. So okay. All right. Well, so Edhesive brings a unique approach to teaching computer science in a blended learning format. So we offer to schools and to teachers complete computer science courses, along with training, data, and resources for those teachers to help them as they are supporting students throughout the program. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what some of those courses, and especially what the resources are, and we're going to talk about different types of teachers and how they use the program differently. I'm almost curious, before we even proceed, Pauline, if you could kind of give me an idea about the types of teachers that generally make up the members of Connecticut's CSTA chapter. Would you say that they are new to teaching computer science, or veterans? How would you describe the average teacher who's a part of maybe tonight's hangout?
So Shimla, it's good to see you here. If you want to jump in at any point, feel free. I feel like there's a little bit of a mixture. So there are some veterans from originally that were with the group, and then we're constantly and consistently adding members as they're being trained. So they come from a wide variety of backgrounds, and they're K through 12 and post-secondary as well.
Great. Okay. That's really great to hear. It's encouraging, and it's because, as we'll talk about, this program has a great value to all those different kinds of teachers, and how they can use it in different kinds of ways. So, and just to start off too, like we don't consider the program to be like it's not an online course. So these are actually, these are complete courses that happen to live in online platforms, but the programs is really all about pairing together this expert online content, but with the in-person support from a teacher. So that's why it's truly considered to be a blended program. And whenever we work with schools, we always have to work with the teacher. So we don't allow the program to be run just like kids just doing it on their own. It's all about how this program is used by a teacher to help support kids in their classroom. So hopefully the screen has changed. So as you can see, we are currently in our 4th school year of running this program. Did start off a few years ago as a pilot, and since then we have now worked with over 15,000 students in over 600 schools. And I think we've worked with schools in, 46 out of the 50 states, and also about 12 international countries as well. And our AP results have really shown that the program has a lot of efficacy as well. The majority of the teachers who we've worked with in the past have been either new to teaching computer science, or have had no computer science really experience at all, and we've kind of referred to them as coaches. And even with the types of teachers heavily skewed towards those categories, our AP results were still really fantastic. Our students who completed the course achieved an average score of 3.3, and our students passed the test at a pass rate of 64% as well. And we achieved that even just in the second year. Those results had held pretty steady for last year as well. So we're really excited to see how those scores go after this year as well, as we're starting to see a lot more teachers who are joining the program who already have a fair bit of teaching experience under their belts in computer science too. So we have 3 different courses. We have an Introduction to Computer Science course, which covers, foundations of coding and uses the language of Python. That comes in both a half-year course and a full-year course. Next up from that, we have the new AP Computer Science Principles course, which covers, central ideas of computing and computer science. And we're so pleased that we had an opportunity to partner exclusively with the University of Texas at Austin's UTeach Institute, and their course, which is called UTeach CS Principles, has actually been endorsed by the College Board. So all of our teachers who are running our AP Computer Science Principles through Edhesive are using the UTeach Institute's College Board endorsed curriculum. And they're also getting all of the lesson plans and the teacher resources that the UTeach Institute has developed over the last 5 years of piloting this program around the state of Texas. And the 2 coding languages for that course are Scratch and Processing. And then followed by that, we have the AP Computer Science A course, which I'm sure most of you are quite familiar with. This is really what we regard now as kind of being a capstone level course within our pathway of courses. And as you know, it's a pretty deep dive into coding in the Java language. But as you can see, and I'm sure as you've been well aware of, just nationally, there's just been a lot more concerted effort to get a broader range of students involved in computer science. And so with the Introduction to Computer Science and AP Computer Science Principles courses, those both provide an ability for schools to kind of cast a wider net and get more students and a more diverse group of students involved in computer science, and hopefully we'll get more students to continue down the pathway into either of the AP options down the road too. So as I said before, that the whole premise of this program is really centered around our support of teachers, and we work with such a wide variety of teachers as well that I want to tell you about. So if I had to kind of categorize teachers into different buckets, I would say we have some teachers who have had like no background or experience with computer science, and they're really not teaching, but they're acting kind of more like a coach. That's on the left side of your screen. In the middle, I'll say we've got kind of people who are new to computer science. Maybe they don't have a lot of experience with the content, but they're actually teaching now. And then we've got on the right side, we've got a lot of really very highly experienced and veteran computer science teachers. So I want to tell you about Mary in Delaware. Mary is actually a librarian at a school. We worked through the Delaware Department of Ed to make this course available at all high schools throughout the state of Delaware. So she is a librarian, and she sees kids that come in and they take this course a little bit more along the lines of an independent study. So Mary's not actually teaching them the content. Mary's focus is really around providing the students with support and motivation and accountability, but she's not really getting into the course content itself. She doesn't have to prepare the lessons or teach the content or grade anything either. That's all handled automatically through our website. Um, the next kind of teacher, Dina in Los Angeles. Dina is an AP environmental science teacher. And last year she had a number of students that really expressed interest in learning how to learning how to do coding. And she just really picked up on their enthusiasm, and she decided to really push her school to offer AP Computer Science A last year. So she did it kind of more along the lines of a coach last year, but she ended up deciding that she got so excited by computer science and the kids were so excited by it, she decided to become a teacher for AP Computer Science Principles this year. So she's using the Edhesive program in partnership with the UTeach Institute as her primary curricular source. And it really allows her to teach in a blended learning format because she is combining all of the, the student-facing course content with in-person projects and presentations, and also all of the supplemental resources that we provide to her as well as a part of that program. She's really able to go above and beyond just what is presented via the computer screen. So she's relying on Edhesive's program as her number one and pretty much sole curricular source. Now, what we're really seeing a lot more teachers are kind of in this next category. So Daniel in Chicago. Daniel's in Chicago Public Schools at a magnet high school, and he's been teaching AP Computer Science for over a decade. And so he's very comfortable with the content. He's in a high-performing school, and he just sees this program as an extra teaching tool that he can use to augment what he is already doing in his classroom. So he is using this as a way to flip his classroom. So he's still, focusing his in-classroom time, teaching as he would, but he uses the Edhesive platform for kids oftentimes to do for homework. As I'll be able to show you later, the platform itself, has a lot of video lessons. It has practice problems. It has embedded coding activities and assessments. All of these are built in, and so what that allows, and they're auto-graded too. So what that allows a veteran computer science teacher too is to basically drastically scale up the amount of coding practice and work that his kids can do. And it doesn't require him to, prepare the materials, grade anything. It all gets reported up to him in his teacher's dashboard. So it's a real boon to him to just, like I said, scale up the work that his kids can do and get them to be coding even more. So how the program works is, we provide content and support to the teachers and to the students every step of the way. So, as far as curriculum goes, these are not just bits and pieces of curriculum that a teacher has to kind of stitch together and make a unit out of it. These are actual, complete courses that have been developed by nationally recognized teachers and instructional institutions. These are complete courses that have complete sequences of lessons. So those include, the units and all the way down to the lessons and down to the individual modules within the lessons. And with the coding classes, so the intro course in Python and the AP Java course, no lesson planning or grading is necessary to use this. For those that are familiar with AP Computer Science Principles and how that course focuses on project-based learning, that course actually does require more traditional teacher-led instruction, and so that is a little bit different for that course. As far as training goes for our teachers, we include an online PD course, which really gets teachers familiar with how to use Edhesive in the classroom. Teachers have a range of tools that they can use throughout the school year too. They have data dashboards where they can continuously monitor and track their students' performance and performance and progress metrics. There is a teacher's guide, which is full of hundreds and hundreds of pages of activities that, historically I think I viewed them as supplemental, but now I encourage teachers to make them a mandatory part of their classes. Especially a lot of them provide scaffolding around AP labs. There's free response practice. There are practice quizzes, practice exams that are different than the online versions. So those are really useful for in-class work for teachers. And then we also have our forums. So our forums are really related to our commitment to ongoing support. So we have forums for both teachers and students that allow our teachers and students to post questions on there and get one-on-one individualized feedback from our instructors and our team of teaching assistants, and that's provided 7 days per week, and that's all included in the program too. So this is just a quick look at what student courseware looks like on the computer screen. That is, how a student would be able to log in and get going on the course. You can see on the right-hand side that there are different types of embedded coding activities where there is students, put their input on the above, and then it runs the code, and then it displays their output below, and then checks their answer. And then if they have any questions regarding any of these kinds of things, they can post questions in the student forum where they will get one-on-one feedback from one of our TAs. This next screen shows what an individual lesson looks like. So you can see again how there's a sequence of lessons on the left-hand side navigation bar, and within an individual unit, there are the embedded videos, and you can see that there's a Java starter file as well as a PDF of slides. So students are encouraged to go along with the lecture. They can take notes, and then the format usually works where the students will watch a video, they'll be presented with a concept, and then they'll be set up to do a practice problem, which is where that starter file comes in. They'll work on their their program in between lessons, and then they'll watch a follow-up video that will include going over the solution to the problem that they were working on. This next slide shows some examples of different kinds of multiple choice and review problems, and these are scaffolded to be like the AP exam questions. And then this slide again shows another example of what the embedded coding activities look like, where there's an embedded code runner that has a series of test harnesses in the background, so that students are being tested on specific ways of, or specifically of how they're being instructed to do their assignment, and it'll give them feedback and let them know about if they're if they've failed any tests and so on. This is a good opportunity then for for students to go to the forum and work with the TAs on debugging their code as well. But again, this is where I think it's a big value to veteran and new teachers alike, because your students are going to get just so many opportunities to practice coding activities without requiring you to grade them all. This next slide shows a screenshot from the forum itself, and I wanted to take a little bit of time too just to mention that the forum system actually comes down from higher ed space, and I'm told that a lot of high school students sometimes are a bit hesitant to start using it, but this is a real opportunity for high school students to learn a very valuable lesson for college readiness skills. college students nowadays are pretty much guaranteed that they're going to have to use a forum system to communicate with their professors and their TAs. And so using a forum while in the more supportive environment of high school where they have teachers there to back them up really gives students an opportunity to develop skills such as being a self-advocate for their learning and being self-reliant too. So that's why I really like this forum system. It's a good way for students to get help, especially this is what allows schools to offer computer science courses, especially when they do not have a computer science subject matter expert on staff. But even for experienced teachers, I still think this could be a good a tool that your students could use in addition to working with you as they already do. So this slide shows some of the teacher resources. On the on the left-hand side, you can see what the teacher's dashboard looks like, where there's basically a bunch of quick links to resources that are applicable for a given week. You can see high-level views of your class performance. On the right-hand side, there's an example student, Meredith DeLong, and that's where you can see a really in-depth view into different metrics on her user activity and all of her scores alike. And this in-detail view is really also what allows a school that does not have a highly experienced computer science teacher to confidently be their teacher of record for their students, because they can really have a really solid view into what students are doing on the platform. So this next slide briefly covers what the pricing model is, and but basically we have two different options. We have either per student prices or per school prices, which allow a school to enroll an unlimited number of students from their school within a site. So if you have 2, 3, 4 sections of students taking one of these given courses, it would be the same as what the minimal amount needed is for a school site license. And all of our licensing that you see here are fully inclusive, so they include everything for the course, all the PD for the teachers, the supplemental materials, and all the data. And then it also includes all of the 7-day per week forum support for, again, content support, technical support, programmatic level support, and pedagogical support as well. It's all included. There's never any software or textbook to purchase either with any of our programs. So I would like to, just remind you all that, this program is really suitable for teachers of all different backgrounds, from people who don't have computer science background but really want to allow their kids to have access to computer science education at their school, and those folks may follow more of like a coaching or facilitator type of model. We have a lot of teachers who are new to teaching computer science and are looking for a primary and reliable curricular resource to base their courses off of. And then we also work with a lot of very highly experienced and veteran computer science teachers. And all these different types of teachers can find a tremendous amount of value, and they can all use the program in a manner that suits their students and themselves and their class as best as they see fit to. In addition to being highly committed to supporting our teachers in the program, we're also highly committed to supporting your students. And I think that's a real point of distinction is that we have that forum where your students can interact with our TAs and instructors 7 days per week and get one-on-one feedback. And that can really, again, allow teachers to just really increase the amount of coding that their kids are going to have an opportunity to work on. And then the last point I'd like to remind you of is it works. With this model, and just in a couple of years of running the program, we've already demonstrated an average AP exam score of a 3.3 with a 64% pass rate, with most of our teachers being coaches so far. So I'm really excited to see, and now that we'll be tracking in the next year, how our veteran AP computer science teachers do on the AP test too. So that's exciting to see. So I'd really like to open it up and see if anybody has any questions about the program.
Thank you, Jeff. That was wonderful. I have been putting into the chat asking for questions, and no one has posted anything yet. I'm not sure. Shinma,
Okay.
do you have any follow-up questions for Jeff?
Okay, Pauline, can I speak? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff, I want to thank you for presenting to us. I know our members have heard you, and because it's been recorded, we'll have a chance to review this again. Is that as some of our members who are new to CS may have been introduced to mobile CSP and the CSP in general, and that I see your platform and others like it as a way these people can bring APCSA to their schools.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's something we can continue to discuss, talk about, because I see it as a good way to enhance their knowledge of CS and their skill level. It's also a good way to expand access to their students. Thank you for this presentation. And I just hope that we'll remain in contact and get to see your work more closely.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good point. And actually, we're working with, I think, quite a number of districts, even folks who have, like, for example, partnered with code.org to help get, like, exploring computer science or AP computer science principles into place, but they still just really need more support, especially when it comes to AP computer science A. So that's a real opportunity to help get this course into schools, even if you don't maybe have a highly qualified teacher on staff at the school, somebody who's new to teaching. I also did want to say too that I have demo accounts for all 3 courses that I can share with people. So if they would like to be able to preview the course content, and what a teacher's account looks like, and see like a sample of the teacher's packet with all the supplementary materials, I'd be happy to share those with them as well. And you can see my email address and my phone number on the screen right now too. So if anybody would like to see that, please feel free to reach out and give me a call or send me an email.
I think that would be really helpful. So Pauline, I know Pauline would have taken note of the addresses. So we'll get back to you.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you for
Yeah, please feel
speaking to us.
to share
I
my
think it's
contact.
going to be useful. We have a lot of teachers who have been trained in the last 1 year with both code.org and mobile CSP, and these people are, their background, they're not really computer science. I think this will help them expand what they do.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you again so much for the opportunity to present to your group tonight. And definitely look forward to keeping in touch, and look forward to speaking with some of the teachers from Connecticut as well. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So for our, I'm going to share my screen for a second. We're going to take about 5 minutes to get set up on our end and make sure we switch presenters smoothly. And I'm getting the green screen again. Yikes. All right, so there's something about when I try to present just one screen, I have a problem. So I guess I'll present my entire screen. So next up, starting in a few minutes, we will have on CoderZ by Intelitek. And I know we have two presenters here with us, right? Are both of you still here?
Yes, I'm here. This is Ido.
Hello. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
I'm here as well. This is Chris Salisbury.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. So, whoever will be speaking tonight should go ahead and write introduction for us.
I'm sorry, Pauline, I didn't hear you. Can we start?
Yes, go ahead and share your screen. I want to make sure everything gets set up before we started.
Okay, so just
Pauline, there is an echo online.
I think it's
Can you see the screen?
yes. Check YouTube Live and make sure it's over. One second.
You're breaking up, so I'm not hearing everything that you're saying.
I think it's just when I'm talking to you. So I don't know it.
You're breaking up. Ido is clear.
Okay. So can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So hi everybody. My name is Ido. I'm the CEO of Intelitek, and we're here to present CoderZ. I want to thank Chimna and Pauline for giving us this opportunity. And just a little bit of background about Intelitek. Intelitek is in the education market, in the education technology market for more than 30 years. We are all about hands-on learning and bringing different types of experience to students on being able to learn through doing. And CoderZ is a new platform that we have launched at the beginning of this school year, and we are happy to be here to present it to you. CoderZ is coming to answer several issues that we have encountered in the last, I'd say, 6, 7, 8 years, when we've been doing a lot of training around the robotics area. First and foremost, when you do robotics, robotics has been something that has had access to a very small percentage of the population because robotics programs are very, very expensive. In order to have a robotics program, you must have, first of all, a budget to buy all the equipment. Secondly, you must have trained teachers. And then you should also have physical space where you can hold a class where you can build and work and run your robots. And this is all limited robots to be something which, you know, if we compare it for a second to the world of sports, then it's more like the varsity team in a school where you have one robotic class that has about 20 to 30 students. But we want robotics and we want code and we want STEM to be more like PE. We want this to be something that is accessible to everybody. And this is why we came out with CoderZ. CoderZ is a learning environment which is web-based. So all you need is just a browser in order to get into this platform. And it includes a management system that I'll show you later. It includes a working platform, a sandbox, and it also includes a lot of curriculum that supports both the teacher and the student in learning both code and robots. CoderZ is a platform that allows you to code both real and virtual robots. So it means that after you have gone through an exercise of coding a virtual robot, you're able to download the code onto the controller of a real robot, compile it and download it, and then run it in many of the more dominant platforms that are available today in the market. Our aim is to be hardware agnostic, and in that way to be able to allow this platform to really be a training platform for whatever hardware you're working on, and then to be able to use the code that you've written to download it to the physical platform. One of the things that is very crucial in teaching a code is for students to have some sort of, first of all, excitement. And in this regard, CoderZ provides the perfect environment for that, because it uses a gamified 3D Unity engine. As you can see here, this is really used in games. You're able to go in and see the different parts of the robot, the sensors, the motors, and it gives a kind of a real nice look and feel for the student. You also have an immediate feedback that as you are coding and when you run the code, you're able to see exactly what is the result. And this is also important because many times when you're learning computer science and learning how to code, you're not always able to see the result of what you're doing. And in robotics, it's even worse because you have to wait until you download it to the real robot, and then only then you get a sense of how this is working. A few of the features that we have here, we have a grid that you're able to do measurements with. We have a tracker which enables you to see what kind of movement the robot is making on the arena. And here in this specific arena, we have a plane arena in order for us to be able to do geometric shapes and to be able to measure whether we're able to code specific geometric shapes. We're able to move the robot manually. So this allows you to start in any different part of the arena itself. Here, once we are going to run this code, we'll be able to see that the code has compiled and the robot now is moving, and it is drawing a certain shape. The other things that we have here as as features. So here we were able to see the robot drawing a square. We're able to see the same code that we've written here in blocks that we're able to draw from the different area of blocks here. We're able to see this code also in Java. So as we're taking some code and adding it on to the blocks, what you will see on the right-hand side is immediately there is that translation, if you like, to Java. And then once the program is once you're what happens is that students, as they are working on these projects, they start with the blocks, and then very, very quickly they say, okay, we'd like to start the project and work directly with Java. So you're able to work to start at the low level with blocks, and then move onwards to starting projects with Java and also with C++. What Chris will show you in another demonstration in a minute is also the use and the ability to collect the data from sensors and how that is used. What else we can show here is we have a configurator. So the configurator allows you to not only consider the coding aspects of your challenge, but also to use this in order to teach different principles in engineering or in robotics. And you can have challenges that require you to choose which of the hardware components you need in order for the robot to be able to succeed in this specific challenge. There are also different types of robots, and also different types of arenas. Here we can see the download area, where after you finish to write your code, you're able to download it to the robot itself. When we move to the management area, this is where you can see the different classes that you have, the different projects, and the code that has been written by students. So this square by Rob is the code that we just went over. All the various projects that have been submitted in the class, the classes itself, in the class, the different compilations, simulation runs, projects that have been done, the number of students, and since the time since you have started. There are also tutorials and various challenges that you have access to through the platform itself. And then there is also a curriculum. The curriculum that we have is curriculum that is aimed for middle school. It is a beginner's curriculum, and provides different types of very specific instructions. So it allows for both self-paced studying by the students, but also for teachers to become very proficient with this tool and to feel very, very confident in teaching their classes. We've seen a lot of really both teachers that are very proactive and would like to take a lead and to create their own content, and they use our curriculum as kind of a guide, and create their own content. So for example, they create broken code and they ask the student to fix it, or they take their own simulations and send the student only the simulation itself and ask them to write the code in order to recreate that simulation on their own platforms. And we also have teachers that are beginners in this and can use the curriculum in order to have the students work at a self-pace and to be able to be more of a facilitator in the first year or two, and then afterward move to become a more proactive teacher. The teachers that we're working with are really computer science teachers, robotics teachers, and what today are STEM teachers. In this platform, you can really combine a lot of curriculum which is around computer science. You're able to combine aspects of math, of geometry, of physics, of engineering, and also, of course, of robotics. The curriculum that we have written is aligned to the CSTA standards. So this is the middle school curriculum. And in addition to that, we also have a curriculum that we have developed in collaboration with the University of Iowa and First Robotics, which is mostly for high school students. And this curriculum is geared towards dual credit in engineering, and allows the student to, once it completes it, to go and get a test for this dual credit. So, Chris, I'll hand it over to you to show another platform.
Sure. I'll jump in here. I'm going to share my screen in a moment. Can everyone see my screen? So, I'm sorry?
Not seeing anything.
Okay, let me try to share it again.
All right.
Okay, you should be able to see it now.
Oh, please.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So a lot of the challenges that students are creating, like, for example, this is a Pop the Balloon challenge. For many students, just to get the robot to move forward is a challenge onto itself. This is a situation where we actually have an environment that the student can take a look at, and there's a challenge there. This challenge is to pop the balloon in as short as amount of time period using kind of the different parameters of the robot. It's going to use kind of this distance sensor. It's going to use also the sensors down front to follow the line. It's using the grippers to grip the tack to pop the balloon. So there's a lot of challenges in this particular environment that allows a student to kind of explore. And you know, if you provide your class with a challenge such as this, to pop the balloon in as short amount of time period as possible, each student will kind of take a look at this and look at the code and go, all right, how can I make this code? How can I improve upon it? Is there certain aspects that they can, you know, speed up the robot? Are there certain aspects that they can, you know, turn the wheels that much as it rounds the bend? So there's a lot of different areas that a teacher could kind of discover. There is a heads-up display that the sensors on the robot are providing all this raw data where you can teach a lesson with this and use the raw data to provide that immediate feedback for the student. Yeah, 35:42, not a bad time. The more I play this, the more I try to tweak the code. But again, for a lot of students, it's that competitive edge. It's, you know, how can I get the robot to complete a mission? And those are certain areas that you know, we like to kind of highlight and stress. The other area that I'll kind of jump into is kind of the teacher's area, where you can actually see your classes and take a look at kind of the students that are in each class. And how they're performing or how they're doing. So if I were to bring up a particular student in my particular class, I'll just pick on Rich because I know he's an outstanding student in my particular class. This is kind of the teacher management portal that allows a teacher to take a look at the activities of a student, take a look at the projects of an individual student. So in this case, Rich has 3 projects, 49 simulation runs, 49 compilations. He's logged in 5 times, and he spent a total of 2.8 hours in the environment. So to me, that means the student is putting the best effort forward, versus you take a look at some of the other students. You know, maybe they need help. Maybe they're a little afraid of technology. So the teacher does have access to that, as well as the programs. They can actually take a look at the completed programs within the environment as well. Any questions that we could answer?
Chris, just before we go to questions, I'd just like to add that, of course, we spend a lot of time working with teachers, and most of the time, you know, in these first few months have been all about working with teachers, understanding the needs, understanding how this platform enables teaching, getting a lot of feedback, but also providing that you know, the PD and the PD and the hand holding in order to make sure that this is working very, very smoothly, and is easy for the for teachers to run this. We've had some public events, both with the CSTA here in Boston, and we've had PD events in Boston University and in our offices. So we're looking for that exposure all the time, and trying to help in that sense, and are going to have a full accessible teacher guide and PD program in order to be able to walk through the curriculum and to work on this software. So as Chris mentioned, we'd be happy to take any questions and to try to or any comments from the audience.
And the other thing that we're open to would be providing demos and pilot programs.
Okay, before they ask, I have some questions. The robots, how much do they cost? And how many do you need in a classroom?
The robots, it really depends on what kind of platform you're using, because it varies. We're not, you know, we're not connected to any one of the robot itself. We're just providing the simulation itself. But robots can vary, usually from $300 all the way to $1,000. And there are classes where a teacher decides to buy just one robot in order to be able to demonstrate certain aspects of the physical part of the coding. And in other cases, they want to build a full robotics classroom and they want to have 15 or 20 units in the class. So it really depends.
Another question I have is...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I liked the pop the balloon challenge. At what? How long does it take a fresh student to get? How many weeks of learning goes on?
Well, you know, it's we're always amazed at the fact that a lot of the students today are coming with good technological intuition and are able to quite quickly learn the different aspects of coding and robotics. In certain cases, you have students that just after a couple of weeks are able to do it. In other cases, it takes a little bit longer. It really depends on what kind of technological background the students have. But just this week, we were doing as part of the Hour of Code and the Computer Science Week, we were working in the school and doing different classes with students, and each class varied. It was amazing to see that the different levels in each class, but some of them were able to accomplish some of these challenges pretty quickly.
Okay, if you don't sell the robots, how much does it cost?
The way that we are pricing this is it's $75 per student per year, and this includes the software and also the curriculum. And if it's just a semester course, then we have a pricing of $40. Obviously, if there is more volume, and if we're talking about a district or something of that nature, then we're able to discuss some volume discount as well.
I'll let others ask their questions.
So any questions in the chat or viewer? So I think this might to say thank you to our presenters. It was wonderful to have you, and I think it's great, especially to have this recorded and let our members be able to watch this back again and be able to review the information that you've provided. It's been wonderful to have you, and I hope that we can stay in contact for the future. Shilpa, do you have any comments?
Nothing more, but I just want to thank them for really talking to us. I think my students like to have hands-on activities, and if the Pop the Balloon Challenge seemed very appealing to even me. It's something we can look at and talk about and find out more what you provide, and then how best we can use it in our classrooms and help our students. I think what's fascinating about CS is the fact that we have such exciting tools available to us to motivate students and to keep them believing and doing great things. Listen to how much of the Java could be taught using the robots and explore and find out more. Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you, Ido, for being patient with me. It took a long while to get you to speak to us, but I think it's all worth it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chinma. It was very worthwhile the wait, and we are very open to continue the cooperation. We are happy to have an interactive session with the CSTA and allow teachers to work on the platform and to for us to do different type of challenges together, or to do pilots in the schools, and for you to get a good sense of how, as a teacher, you're feeling with the platform, and also how students are responding to it. So we are open, and please communicate with us, and we'll be happy to cooperate.
Thank you. Thank you. I look forward. I want it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Us off.